Hi, everybody. Welcome to Google Plus Week. I'm Dan McDermott, your host, with Alan Furstenberg in New York. And this is going to be a quick show. Alan, good to have you with us.
Hey, Dan.
Okay, so first up is the Nexus event is coming up on Tuesday, and there's some rumors. I guess I don't know, is any of this confirmed, or what do you expect to see on Tuesday? What kind of announcements?
Well, not confirmed here, but what the report, what this report is saying, I mean, the we know almost certainly are we're getting two new Nexus phones. It sounds like it's going to be the Nexus 5X and Nexus 6P from all of the rumors leaking out. And I hate rumors, but these are pretty solid at this point. Of course, they're coming out because Android 6.0 is going to be launching.
Okay, your audio is, I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Sucks is probably the word you're looking for.
yeah, it sucks. All right, so also there was something here, so we'll look forward to that. That's on Tuesday.
Yeah, it also sounds like we're going to be seeing some Chromecast announcements along with it too. So possibly a new Chromecast, possibly a Chromecast audio dedicated, some changes to the apps. We'll see, but that's the rumors.
All right. Also, I see Google Voice search is faster and more accurate according to Google. I
Yeah,
like it a lot. It works great for me.
this has got one of the most bizarre posts I saw this week. It wasn't from the Android team. It wasn't from the search team. It was from the research team who were touting the marvelous things that they're doing with more deep neural network and some acronyms that I've never heard of and a whole bunch of other interesting things. But it boils down to voice search is now using really different technology than they used to use. It's faster, it's better. In fact, they had to slow it down um, to actually make it work a little bit better and a little more reliably for you. So it's some interesting stuff. Your eyes, Dan, will certainly glaze over when you read this, but it's some pretty cool stuff.
Okay, and I apologize to the viewers. Alan's audio is it's pretty rough, so but it's not going to be a long show. Okay, next up is this headline: Google charges for YouTube adverts. It sounds, Alan, it sounds like you're uploading a large video file and it's skipping. Like if you were on an OB box or something and it's real bad because you're uploading to YouTube. That's kind of what it sounds like. But it says Google's charging for YouTube advertisements that are viewed by robots. These folks did a test and they bought ads for a video, and the view count on the public player did not match. What was smaller than what they had purchased, so they were charging them for X number of views, but the YouTube. This is not new. I mean, I've experienced this when I was promoting a video, and I called them up and said, you're charging me. I'm trying to get people to watch whatever video it was, and you're charging me for say 3,000 or whatever it was, and the view count says 1,800. What gives? And they said, oh well, it's two different criteria. I said, well, was it or was it not watched, right? Um, but any thoughts on this, Alan?
No, not really. There's no surprise that Google's going to try to keep as quiet as possible how it is they're computing their hits. Basically, the article talks about it really needs to just be more transparency. I don't think more transparency is going to do it. People will always gain system.
Okay, another one here. Google said to be under U.S. antitrust scrutiny over Android. This is not new. They're under scrutiny for everything, and this does not. I think they've been under scrutiny before, and no charges were alleged or whatever. I'm guessing that some complaints were filed by competitors or what have you. Uh,
Oh,
is
okay.
this a
Let's
big
be
deal?
clear.
Or
This is the first time this is over Android. Previously, it's been over search. Um, this the more I read this article, the worse it became because they kept muddling issues of search versus Android, and they really did not make it clear Google is alleged to have done. Um, Google's priority to its own services on the Android platform while restricting others. Added the people who for anonymity because they're confidential. I'd really like to see, if that's true, fine. I'd like to see proof of it though, because I honestly don't see evidence of that.
okay. Um, All right, trying to multitask, failing. Okay, we'll see where that goes. Samsung has announced. I hate these headlines. They just announced. No, they didn't just announce it. Um, okay, so they've announced the Gear virtual reality headset. It's $99. It was made, I believe, in with Oculus Rift, the Facebook owned company, and it only works with Samsung stuff, which is fine. It's a Samsung product. Only works with Samsung phones, but it is a neat price point. I guess you can watch even aside from the virtual reality. It's a screen. I mean, you can watch a Netflix movie. Um, I think
Well,
this
I
is
mean that
exciting, and
that's
you've
been
played with cardboard, and I haven't. So tell me, what's is this a big
well
deal? Or
for starters. That's been the big news that came out of apparently Oculus was having some major conferences today talking about how Netflix was working with their device, and apparently it's really cool. I still don't get, but apparently it's really cool. My favorite part about the article that you linked to is right at the bottom. It says, "Now watch, we built a knockoff of Oculus Rift for $25," i.e., they built a cardboard. Um, so yeah, the price point is good. It still only works with Samsung's high-end phones. It's very narrow. As to cardboard, basically, hey, you can build it out of $25 and a pizza box. I'm still going with the cardboard personally.
I use the green pizza boxes that you can tear apart into plates. Maybe I could fasten that into a virtual reality pizza box or something. Um, I think it's exciting. You've played with them. This is a hell of a price point, don't you think? This will be a big Christmas gift.
Yeah, $9 is the right price point to hit this at. I think it's going to be it has the potential to be big, but again, here's the thing: it's only going to work with certain Samsungs. So people are going to discover that it doesn't work with it. But it's got potential, and I think it's exciting. It's exciting. It's going to be exciting times for VR.
Is it going to be any better than cardboard as far as the picture?
Um, Probably a little, but only because these higher end phones have better screen resolution. But otherwise, no. And here's the other big thing is, as far as I know, there are no apps for it yet. Well, there are a ton of apps out there for cardboard already.
And cardboard does work with iPhones or
You
Android.
can get cardboard for iPhones. You can get cardboard for Android.
And
Cardboard is more of a concept than implementation.
we've said that a few times on this show about various things. Um, Google Plus, for example. Okay, so all right, this is an exciting phone. I mean, I wouldn't get it, but it's the Blackberry's Android slider phone is called the Priv, I guess, and it will be available this year. So there's a picture of it for folks watching. This is cool, Alan. I've always wanted a Blackboard keyboard with my
Blackberry. The word is Blackberry,
Blackberry. Why do
Dan.
I keep doing this? I'm having some sort of issue, some sort of Tourette's.
Just the usual for you. Um, be interesting. The fact that it's actually been announced is impressive. Available later this year. I don't think I saw a price on this, but oh well. And we'll see. I know quite people who would actually love to see this because they still hate the soft keyboards. So we'll see we'll see what this is. This going to be real Android? Is it going to be based on Android? What is it? Is it coming from? We'll see. I'm looking forward to check out though.
Okay. And then next is Facebook is rebranding its controversial Internet.org app. They've gotten allegations that they're violating net neutrality. I don't know if net neutrality would apply to a completely free service any more than if I was in your coffee shop. You could tell me
Well,
not to use Netflix there, right?
that all depends. Are you advertising this as the internet, which they are? They were saying that this was the internet, and you could get the internet through internet.org. When in reality, we're getting was Facebook and a couple of other apps. That's not the internet.
So they're calling it basics or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes, a basic tier, but it's free. Um, and this is in the developing world, correct? This is not like in New York City.
That's correct. It's meant for India. I think is where it launched.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Facebook turns Notes into a mini blog. This is neat. Notes is sort of out there, but nobody's using it. I mean, not really. It's not something I see anyone using, or maybe I'm not looking hard enough. But it was kind of a feature that was still there. But now you see on the left the old Notes in Facebook, and then on the right they've added some neat content management system type stuff, and you can. It's kind of a mini blog, I guess. That's kind of neat. Resurrecting this underutilized feature, and it's all, of course, within the Facebook ecosystem.
This one is bizarre. I'm not sure what to make of this. It looks like they're trying to take a feature that's almost never been used and continue to make so it'll almost never be used. I what who came up with this idea? People who left the Google Plus team? I mean, I don't get it.
Okay, we have a comment here from Cybernaut. Alan Furstenberg has lots of network jitter. Luckily, Alan is such a competent co-host that he can say things and we can hear everything he says twice, and it's still interesting. It's like reading a great Michael Crichton novel twice because it's even better the second time. That's why he's on the show. And because Pam's stuck in traffic. All right. All right, so we're really excited about Facebook's new features. The successful internet shaming of pharma bro Martin Shkreli, I guess is his name. This guy who
the fuck cares what his name is? His name is Shithead.
Really,
it takes a lot to be. It takes a lot to become the most hated man in America, and he's done it pretty easily,
quickly.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Short of like a mass shooting, I mean, this guy was hated.
No. I think even including mass shooting, guy is hated more than that.
And this was so he bought a company, and I think the drug was like $13 a pill or something.
He owns a hedge fund company. He bought the U.S. licensing rights for a pill that was sold $13.50, jacked up the price for a few years to $750, and claimed it was still underpriced. Okay, I think Americans don't mind people who do clever things to make some money. They don't like assholes, and this guy was an asshole. Oh, and then he bragged about being a greedy asshole on Twitter.
Yeah, there was the whole young punk mixed with Leona Helmsley, just really an asshole. So the one thing we agree on, Alan and I, that this guy's bad news, and then he backed down, and it was fairly quick.
Yeah, you think you really disagree with this guy?
I said this is something we agree on.
I'm surprised by that, because your position usually is that companies can do whatever the fuck they want because it's their fucking property, right?
I don't think he did anything illegal. I think that we have a First Amendment right to say he's an asshole for preying on people with AIDS. But this is the system. I mean, a Tylenol doesn't really cost what they charge. This isn't new. It's just this was so blatant and publicized, and the guy with the stupid pictures.
It's not new, but it is different than the Tylenol. Tylenol price jacked up because Tylenol is actually now going to pay for other things, and there's some research involved behind, etc., etc., etc. He's basically saying he bought the licensing rights. He didn't develop it. He's not doing any production. He's not doing diddly shit with this drug except jacking the price up for his hedge fund company.
George Cozy would tell us in the Netherlands, he would say that this is an example of why the U.S. medical system sucks, that it's all for profit and it's a Wild West. That's why we pay them more than anybody else. And anybody who would have voted against John Boehner would say that this is the reason that the U.S. is so good at developing incredible new drugs, because there's money to be made.
Except the fact that this has nothing to do with developing new drugs.
The people who did
There's
make
a
the drug.
65-year-old drug. Its patent has long expired.
Well, in this case, correct.
In all of these cases,
If it's
now,
patent expired, then how come he had exclusive rights?
he had exclusive rights. He bought the licensing rights for it. There was only one manufacturer, GlaxoSmithKline. He bought the licensing for it in the U.S. In theory, somebody could go develop, could go bring out the generic version of it, another generic version of it. Okay, but in order to that, they'd have to prove that it was quantitatively the same as the original drug, and there was no way to get the original drug because he also restricted distribution of it.
Yeah, so we don't like him.
So there's no legal way in the U.S. to go. Oh, and you also can't import it from elsewhere. That's illegal.
That's illegal from when people were going on the touring trips, like going to Canada to get drugs.
Yep.
And to protect us from counterfeit and poorly made drugs, they did that law. That was their motivation.
Yep.
Okay, so next is Volkswagen. I don't know where to begin. The story here is about the tech, but it was a little lab affiliated with a university in West Virginia, and they were the emissions testing lab, and it's obviously not the sexiest thing that gets all the publicity, not the Larry Sabato of this university. And they discovered, I guess in 2012, they got an inkling that something had gone awry, affecting the diesel engines put out by that are in Volkswagen vehicles. And I'm parsing my words here because Volkswagen also sells their diesel engines to other car manufacturers. I think I'm not aware yet if any of those are affected. Turns out there was a program where if you would hook up the emissions test, if you would enter emissions testing mode, that it would perform wonderfully. And then when you unhook that and you were just driving, the emissions skyrocketed. I think in one case, 40 times the allowable limit. Initially, they said 400,000+ recalls in the United States, and then now it's worldwide. I think in Germany, just Volkswagens, it's 4+ million, and I think it's a total of, like, I've heard 11 or 18 million, or 11 million vehicles. I've heard that the fine just in the U.S. could be up to $18 billion or something. I may have those numbers reversed, but billions, in the two-figure billions. Plus, they're going to have to recall all the vehicles. Plus, everyone's going to sue them because now their vehicle is worth less. Plus, the dealers are going to sue them because they lied. Everyone's going to sue them, except me, because I have a Honda and a Ford. I don't have a Volkswagen. Wish I'd bought one 2 weeks ago. So, Alan, what do you think about what do you make of all this? This is a huge fail.
Well, we discussed some of this last week, and as more details are coming out about it, it's just truly appalling the ethics of some engineer who did this. Now, let's admit one thing: every cars right now has an emissions test mode. Okay, every single one, every modern car manufacturer, knows when it is emissions test mode. That's fine. The problem is Volkswagen decided to change how the vehicle ran when it's emission in test mode. That kicker is that some engineer somewhere did this, and that engineer did it for instructions by somebody.
This was not a Lone
Somebody
Ranger.
deserves pride.
And like in one of the articles, they were saying, when you do these, someone has to take it out on the test track. And I mean, lots of people were involved in this. This wasn't some renegade 3 people that sabotaged, and this was for years. But we'll find out, right? I'm sure the prosecutors are going to find out who did it. Although,
Probably not. Probably.
Although, I mean, they haven't gotten anywhere. I don't understand how you can be criminally liable for something and just the company gets a fine. If you're criminally liable for something, you go to jail. But like this GM ignition switch thing,
You can't send a company to jail.
do we know who did it? Who covered it up? Why can't they be charged? I don't understand.
Because that's how our corporate laws work right now.
So could I just become a corporation before I rob the local bank?
If you're acting on behalf of the corporation, yes, you could.
There you go. That must be how politicians do it. Okay.
You got it.
Your local congressman incorporated. Okay, next is the copyright was finally thrown out on the Happy Birthday song, and I guess it was Warner Chappelle. They were making millions of dollars a year. That song, now I can do it. Happy birthday to you. That looking for a red flag. Literally, it's a red flag on YouTube Live. There's three things. There's the lyrics. There's the arrangement of the music. There's any recordings, and those are three different things that can all be copyrighted. So this song is from like 1860 something. How the hell could there have been a copyright on this?
Well, they were claiming that there was a copyright on certain arrangements of it because there was the people who came up with it at a later date was part of the claim. And part of what these documentarians discovered is that no, the version that we're aware of was clearly based on earlier lyrics and earlier music. And that's how they were able to eventually, they wrote this documentary, they presented it, they refused to get the license for it, and that's how it went to court.
And it was over $1,500 fine, I think. But
Something like that.
these guys are smart. It's sort of like BMI ASCAP. Technically, if you do a public performance, you're supposed to pay the royalties. But if you have, say, a barbecue for your cul-de-sac, they're not going to go after you, but they're going to go after a bar, nightclub, big restaurant, a venue like that. So these guys were going after movie makers because, frankly, they would just want like, $1,000 or whatever it was, and Spielberg's just going to pay that, even if he thinks it's rotten, rather than litigate it. But these guys held out. I bet if Trump used it, they wouldn't have gone after him. Anything else on this?
Bet you they would have. Actually, probably not, because he would have just paid the ASCAP fee automatically.
Next is, I didn't realize this. Pope Francis did a Google Hangout. He's been in the news this week here in the U.S. I have three observations. One, his speech at Congress was amazing, and he really is a good politician because he said it's something like it's an honor to be here in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Of course, if you want to get an applause, standing ovation in Congress, quote our national anthem. Also, I don't know how the guy can stay humble when everywhere he goes, literally, there's like 50,000 or more people, some of whom are fainting at the sight of him. A congressman took the glass he was drinking from after his speech before Congress, and so he could take it home and drink from it, and then have his wife drink from it. I mean, that's kind of spooky and weird. I love the guy, but at CNN, the third thing, CNN brought on their senior Vatican analyst, and I'm thinking, like, how many can there be? How many CNN Vatican analysts can there be that this guy's like the leader of a team? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that works. What? Any thoughts on that at all, Alan? I know you're not Catholic. I'm a lapsed Catholic. Okay. All right. Next is Aaron Sorkin blast. I'm gonna have to bring this up to read from it because it's a great quote. So I guess Tim Cook was on a show and they were discussing the Steve Jobs movies, and Aaron Sorkin said it seemed like it was opportunistic making these films about the company's late co-founder Steve Jobs. He didn't feel that the first one did Jobs justice. The second one, which has been praised by among others Steve Wozniak, as being very realistic on both of the portrayal of Jobs and Wozniak. Wozniak likes the movie a lot. I think Tim Cook has not seen it yet, I believe. I could be wrong. But he said a lot of people try to be opportunistic, Cook said. I hate this. It's not a great part of our world. And Sorkin used the forum of a press junket to fire back, according to an account in the Hollywood Reporter. He said that Cook should reserve judgment until seeing the film. That's a standard reply. Don't judge a book by its cover. Then he said, if you've got a factory full of children in China assembling phones for 17 cents an hour, you've got a lot of nerve calling someone else opportunistic. So I think that's a clever. I would not get into a war of words with Aaron Sorkin. Words of wisdom. Any thoughts on this, Alan? Have you heard anything about the movie? It's not out yet, is it?
No, I haven't. I don't particularly care.
And this is the one based on Isaacson's book?
I have no idea, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Sounds like you're really into this whole story. How was your Google Plus week, sir? I know you got to go in just a couple minutes.
Wasn't too bad. I was actually really, really excited by the fact that this is a tech thing, which is why I didn't put it on the list. There's some new technology coming out from the Google Docs and Apps team. That's some pretty exciting stuff that I'm looking forward to playing with.
Anything that you're especially psyched about with the Nexus Event Tuesday?
Not really.
Okay. Are you
My
gonna be?
mom's in the market for a new phone, though, so I hope one of these will suit her well.
You're not gonna get the. You're not gonna get the Samsung, the Gear, virtual reality headset.
No.
Okay.
I think one of my 4 cardboard devices will suit me just fine. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, my week was good. It was an off week, so that's good. Next week it'll be chaotic print week. And I don't know what else. I tried the Martha Stewart one dish pasta. I made it where you put the fettuccine, 12 ounces of fettuccine noodles, tomatoes, basil, onion, all in the pot, and put 4.5 cups of water. And it just one pot pasta, and you'll see a pan with all this stuff in it. And it worked amazingly. It was delicious. And I've never heard of that before, that you could cook pasta. I always heard like you have to have, 4 to 6 quarts of water, et cetera, and to do it in 4 cups, and it was delicious. So who knew? So kudos to Martha Stewart and to the guy in Italy's mom, who that's how she made it. That's how it ended up in the book. All right, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. Google Plus Week is every Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll remind you that in just a moment. First, I'm going to check for and your audio cleaned up. I don't know what you did, but this what Cy calls the max headroom effect is gone. So
Well, that's good.
hey.
Oh wait, I don't actually. Should I find a nice max headroom effect here? Where is it?
Matey says Alan's audio is horrible. It's good now. And Nate says, how are you today? We're doing fine, Nate. Thank you. Thank you for asking. All right, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. We'll be back next Friday, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on Google+, YouTube Live, etc. I'll be joined by Max Headroom, who's, wow. There you go. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.